Hello, everybody. Scott Golden with the Superstars of Wrestling Review series for the 10th of 10th of April, 1993. Hacksaw Duggan against Barry Horowitz. First time I think we've seen Duggan since the Yokozuna squashing a few months ago. Might not be the first time, but very close to it. Might have been on another syndicated program, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time back on Superstars. Duggan throws a chair into the ring with the 2x4, etc. and so forth. Big hip toss by Duggan on Horowitz. Horowitz, of course, been a mainstay in enhancement talent in the area for a while. Suplex by Duggan, showing his power, and he sends the enhancement talent out of the ring, knocks over the steel steps, and tries to be extra aggressive. Duggan, of course, done by the end of, I think, this year. Could be wrong on that, but I think done by the end of 93, maybe early 94. But his time comes to a close in less than a year here. Big clothesline by Duggan. 1, 2, 3, get to win. Jack Tunney tells us that the championship stays with Hulk Hogan after the WrestleMania 9 win for Hogan. Of course, Hogan defeating Yokozuna after Bret Hart had been defeated by Yoko in an impromptu match. Fuji, in an interview, basically claims that this is unfair. There was no contract. Papa Shango against David Clements. Shango really without direction for the remainder of his run here. He had direction for the first year-ish or so, but not really here. Big hip toss by Papa Shango, goes into the reverse chinlock and then a backbreaker. Shango, makes his way around with some strikes, hits a power slam, and eventually gets things going back his way. Character that I still think they could have done more with, but they didn't have a clear vision. Back suplex by Shango, and he's pretty dominant of Clemens, who I don't know that we've seen before as an enhancement talent. Shango good with the facials and the like, and then we see the inverted shoulder breaker for the win. El Matador, Tito Santana, and the Brooklyn Brawler up next. Santana going to be gone by the beginning of 94. I met Tito probably 98, maybe 98, 99 for the first time. Met him a couple times over the years, probably half a dozen times, if not a few more. And nothing but a class guy. Probably one of the legends that I can honestly say is not different than what I imagined him to be. And super intelligent guy, learned a lot from him. And so hammerlocks and basic stuff with the Brawler. Of course, the Brawler had been around since about 84, 85. Mainly as an enhancement talent, except for a short run in 89 as something more than that. And then, obviously, doing backstage stuff for decades after his in-ring run was over. But hip toss and a body slam by Santana. Santana obviously can get a good match out of just about anybody. And we then see Santana goes back to the armbar. This match a little bit longer than it needs to be, I think. Nothing wrong with getting 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes out of something, but at the same time, the El Paso de Muerte doesn't come quite soon enough for my personal liking. Anyway, post-WrestleMania thoughts. Gene Okerlund talks to a couple of people here. Okerlund in a I guess you'd say, a green screen environment, brings Crush in, talks about double doinks and it not being fair and it not being just, and Crush is going to get his revenge on Doink one way or the other. Then they bring in Paul Bearer and The Undertaker, talk about the chloroform used by the Giant Gonzalez and Harvey Whippleman. Says this is anything but fair, but it's far, far from over. Narcissist Lex Luger against Dwayne Gill. Dale Wolf. Dwayne Gill is up in the next match against Kamala. But anyway, Luger still coming to the ring with the enhanced cape, and now we're getting further into the loaded forearm, which is legitimate from the nature of his motorcycle accident. He did have a steel plate put in the arm. They turned that into a story. Luger punches and kicks, real basic stuff, nothing to write home about from Lex Luger. Even his strikes look deliberately elongated, for lack of a better term. Power slam by Luger, which is one of the things he does do very well. And then we see Luger with a one-finger pin after using the loaded forearm. Kamala and Duane Gill up next, and this is as to be expected. You know, a bit of a well, definitely a squash, but Gill tries to shake the hand, tries to cheat, hand behind the back, which actually comes, I believe, from the British nature, the hand behind the back. I could be wrong with that. I'm actually curious where the hand behind the back of a heel concept comes from. Anyway, hard shots by Kamala with chops, kicks, punches and the like, and then obviously his big splash with the turnover, needing to put his man on his back so he can pin him. Deal. Courtesy of Wrestling Challenge, the debut of Mr. Hughes against JD Striker. Hughes in a suit shirt, suspenders, black pants, black shoes, and a tie, and a traditional hat. Hughes with a lot of punches. Of course, Hughes coming off, I guess, probably about a year on the shelf after being released from WCW as the bodyguard of Lex Luger. Power slam by Hughes. And Hughes, a guy who actually did go on to train some people. Guy who's been in and out of wrestling for a long, long time. Backbreaker by Hughes. Lots of power. I don't think he's aligned with Harvey Whippleman quite yet. That alignment comes pretty quickly. Hughes has never been a great talker. Former football player, I know at college level, I think at pro level too. But anyway, hard kick by Hughes and a modified choke slam. And a win there. Then we move to Bob Backlund and Anthony Howard. As to be expected, a highlight match for Backlund. By this point, Backlund kind of still running around. Howard gets some mat time, some riding time with Backlund. Backlund reverses. Of course, Backlund, a former collegiate champion, as well as a 5.5-year WWF champion from 78 to 83. Backlund tips up and kind of gets back to his feet. Shots by Howard. Howard actually looks a little more competitive than he should have here. Backlund rolls him over, and 1, 2, 3 gets a victory with a pinning combination. Money Incorporated and Doink talk about WrestleMania. Money Incorporated talk about still having the tag team championships and not running Hogan out of town, but they're still the best team in the WWF according to them. Doink insinuates that people having, quote, double vision is their own problem, not that he did anything morally reprehensibly wrong, and we close Superstars on that note. We will be back with more action right after this.